Hi guys.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi,
Hi,
Jess.
Jess.
Hi,
Hi,
Jess.
Jess.
Hey. Hold on.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jess.
What's going on? What's going on?
Jessica,
Yes.
can I show a chart? I met this guy who did 20 years in prison and was self-taught. He taught himself how to trade, and his charts is all by hand. I thought it was so impressive that people would like to see it. I have like a 1 minute video.
You have a 1 minute video of somebody trading?
No, of his charts that he did by hand. It's very detailed. I just thought it was like something nobody probably never seen before. He learned with no computer.
Oh wow. Sure, but let's keep it brief. Or do you want to just drop it in our community?
Okay, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that might be good.
Only because this is on YouTube. I mean, I don't mind, but like it's just random.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like hand drawn out trading charts.
Yes, colors, everything, numbers, math, all of this stuff.
Wow.
And
Um, I mean, you could just share it briefly, or actually just put it in the community so we can get going with today.
okay.
Um,
That'll be great.
okay.
I like it.
Community.
Okay. All right, guys. So, let's just recap from last week and then let's talk about this week. Um, did you guys see what I was talking about on GU?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
And it
Yep.
literally did exactly that. But that's the thing about the market, especially in like this uncertainty. Remember, we talked about like consolidating first and then kind of seeing step by step where we were going next because of the trend line that we had on a higher time frame from last week. Oil's crying real bad, so I'm just trying to stay focused and present right now. I'm like, why is he crying so bad? But I'm going to show, okay, so we'll talk about where we were last week and then we can really go over a step by step of this week. Where we were last week, we had not even had this trend line break last week. So last week we were literally just sitting on this trend line. We talked about price possibly pushing down because of or pushing down and consolidating because of like just the big momentum that we originally had. However, I talked about on a higher time frame, we had a let's go to 4 hours so you guys can see. We had a trend line on the higher time frame that I told you guys I did not want you to omit. Hold on. Where? Okay. Let's go to 4 hour. Here. So last week we were literally in we were around this area here. This area. Yeah. So last week we're around this area. And then I think this fib was at this point. Yeah. Because we have reached, so we had this first point, and then this is in the same vicinity, but because it's 4 hour structure, obviously, like a smaller portion on 4 hour structure is going to look completely different than how it's going to look on a smaller time frame. Did that make sense to everybody?
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 So
Yes. Indeed.
Yes, it
this
does.
Sure.
area here,
Yeah.
so literally, when I talk about price possibly pushing up to this next trend line, this is basically where it went. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this, or I went ahead and adjusted this here. Let's go step by step from last week, but does anybody have question over the structure first before I continue? Any questions or where the trend line came from, where we are, where we came from? Everybody good?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the girl, I forgot her name. Whoever asked me about GJ last week, I didn't have GJ fully marked up, but her trade play out. Everybody saw that. Uh, her
Yeah.
outfit.
Oh yeah, just it's me. Ah!
Congratulations, my love.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah. So here, everybody see this from a 4-hour structure before I drop back down? Everybody see where we are?
Yes.
Did anybody have any questions over the week? Or any questions that arose before I move on to internal structure?
Actually, a quick question. I thought this one is a 1 hour FIP, not 4 hours.
I'm just showing you guys. Okay, so remember on the previous whatever call it was when I said I'm gonna get away from the whole, or not even get away, because it's important that you guys know. But like I just want you to understand major and minor for now, because I think so many people get so caught up on that you miss the majority of what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense? So I'm showing you guys this trend line when I just showed you this.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't showing you guys the fib. I was showing you this green trend line coming.
Got-
So I
Yes.
was saying that, remember you guys, when we were on last week's call and price was around this area here, I was saying that because we, like, obviously this is a zone, right? So typically when we have a zone, we need a retest. But remember last week when I was saying, because this trend line is here, I don't want anybody to just, we were here and we also were kind of at this negative 27 from this first point of this fib. But when we were on the call last week, I said, opposed to just selling right here, be aware that this trend line is above, because obviously we want to look at everything and not just some things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, Jess.
No worries. Does everybody keep seeing this pop-up that keeps popping up on my screen? Because I'm like, why does it keep popping up? A
What does
Zoom
this say?
pop-up? It's a
No.
No.
No, we don't see it.
saying unable to
No.
establish. Okay. On Zoom, it's saying unable to establish secure connection to Zoom. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody can hear me clearly, because I don't know why it keeps popping up.
It's
But
not clear.
what I had originally said was, is this throw up? Oh no, Loyal. I'm sorry, guys. That's so crazy. What I was saying was is that you want to pay attention to everything, not just some things. So meaning you want to look at the whole big picture and not just small little details in and out of it. So obviously when somebody's trading, like it's easy to just look at minor structure and not look at major structure. It's easy to look at major structure and not look at minor structure, but you have to be aware of everything. So even in my course, when I'm teaching and when I'm breaking things down for you guys, the main things that I try to get through you guys is to pay attention to every little detail, because if not, you could easily lose a trade just by not even understanding that higher time frame picture. Because also it's easy to get lost in the smaller structure, because you see on my other trade, that's why I have two different charts that I look at. Because I always want to be aware of what's going on overall. But when you're in your everyday, day-to-day trading time frame, like this trend line, mind you, these points that got hit, one of them was September 2023. It got hit again November 2023. It got hit again April 2024. November 2024. Here we are in 2025 when we're just now approaching it again. So it's easy to like completely forget about some of the structures on the higher time frame if you're not constantly always reminding yourself and going back and looking at the big picture. Does that make sense? So somebody could have easily said
Yeah.
like, so, ooh, come back now. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Go back to it. Somebody could have easily said like, okay, from the other chart, which I'm going to go back to, but like we talked about last week, with this structure just being here, right? And just looking at this structure, and it's another reason why I say you have to take this step by step. With this structure just being here and somebody not looking at this trend line, what does this look like it's about to do?
Sale.
Clearly,
Yeah, its own.
it literally looks like it's about to pull back to this. And that's why on last week's call, if you guys rewatch it, I said, typically I would say because we had this push, I'm waiting on a pullback. However, you have to be aware of that trend line that's above, because again, it's just me understanding structure. You have to be aware of that because it's not something that you could just forget. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make you guys consistently profitable traders. Like, and when I say consistently profitable, it's not a thing of, like even on the call last week when I was saying like, okay, we're in consolidation, but we have to wait and see what happens next. We have to wait and see on this structure. It's because you have to take it step by step in order to be successful. Like this isn't like a gamble where somebody's pulling this out of a magic hat. Like, hey, this is about to do this like 100% and not even caring about anything else. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, so as you guys saw, let's just go back to now current structure. And I want to take you guys through the dates or the step-by-step of this past week, because there were really a lot of opportunities that could have been taken advantage of. We still consolidated a lot before we had the continuation of that push up, but prior to that, we were in this structure here. So, and we also, I want you guys to remember your trend line breaks and retests that always help you with everything, right? So, oh no, where are my markups? Hold on. Okay, wait 1 second. Okay. Yeah, okay. Here we are. Yeah, this is right. Okay, so yeah, this was the first one. So you have two, okay, so again, on the call here, we had not even broken this trend line. We needed like a full break and retest of structure to confirm anything. We were literally just here and we needed the trend line to actually break to confirm anything. That's first and foremost. We don't guess the market. We trade what we see, not what we think, right? I want to ingrain that in you guys' heads and I want you guys to remember it always. So here we came to this trend line, and as you guys see, we never really tested and broke it away. We literally sat on this area and just consolidated. We didn't really have any push up. We didn't have any push down. We were literally just consolidating in this area even when we broke. That's the first. Make sense?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
So when we finally got some push away from this area, we ended up, this was our full break. And then we retested up here to the top. Everybody see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Now, that retest, remember, is still in the midst of this consolidation area. Now, again, when you guys are trading, another thing that I want you guys to remember is adding your confirmations together, because even in this right here, you don't really have any bias to buy at this point. Does that make sense? Like, if anybody took this buy to the upside, you took it by guessing and not by confirmation.
I get
So
that.
when I'm teaching you guys with trading, I don't want you guys to hop in anything without your rules aligning as to why you're getting in positions, because you should not feel anxiety when you're in positions. You should not be scared while you're in your positions, because if you are, that means that you guessed in that position and you didn't have anything lined up to confirm why you're in that position. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
if somebody got into this, let's say right here, you don't have confirmation for a sell or a buy here. We have momentum. I mean, we have exhaustion at the bottom and we have exhaustion at the top. There's no trade that should have been taken anywhere through this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Even with this, like technically on minor structure, this isn't enough of a breakaway, but technically somebody could have said, oh, okay, well, did this break and retest to the downside? But again, that's why I'm breaking down the fact that this wasn't a push away. This is still sitting on this area. And this one, aligned with the rest of this, is still sitting on this area. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
no higher
Yeah.
points or lower points that's formed. So if I'm looking at this structure and I say, oh, well, I have exhaustion. Okay, I have exhaustion here, right? I have exhaustion here. I have exhaustion here. But I also, to the upside, I have exhaustion here. I have exhaustion here. And then technically, I mean, I wouldn't really call this a bearish engulfing, but we can say that this is somewhat momentum. But it's still no lows or no highs that's broken. Does that make sense? So if you're trading,
Yep.
you said, I'm about to get in this position, and you got in this position either for the buy or the sell. Both of them are guessing. Like even when I put an update, I said, okay, we're consolidating as expected because consolidation was expected. So even last Sunday, like I know sometimes it's annoying when it's like, oh my God, she didn't give out a full out trade, but it's like I'm trying to give you guys the things to look for. Because when you're in these positions and you're in real life and the market is moving, you need to know how to like react to it. You need to know when it's go time to place a buy or a sell on your positions. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So
So,
here we are. Oh, somebody say something?
yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, would you have taken that sale once, like, once that candle that is up there now has formed, like the very last candle? Would you have taken that sale then?
So,
Buy then? Would you have taken that buy then?
where? The buy.
Yep, yep, right here where you're putting, go right there, yeah. If you zoom in a little bit, as the candle started getting a little bit more momentum, yeah, like as you started getting more momentum there for the buy, would you have taken it there?
No, because I don't have a break and retest here because this easily could have pushed down to this zone.
I see. Okay.
You don't have like even look at the structure that's just here of what it looks like. And this is why when I tell you guys don't just stare at the charts because you will make it something that's not there. Like if you look at this structure, technically this structure could look like an impulse, a correction, and a continuation.
Mhm.
It could, right?
Mhm.
But it's something that's very key here. We don't have any lower points.
I see.
Make sense?
Yeah, there's no higher highs, higher lows kind of.
Exactly. So I don't have a bias to get in this for a buy right here, nor do I have a break and retest confirming a buy right here. And even this, like this never formed divergence. You see, this is pushing down, this is pushing down.
Right.
So we don't have confirmation for anything. That's the part that's key. Confirmation is key. Confirmation is key. So you do not lose anything. Like, I don't want anybody, oh, I have profits today. Oh, I lost money today. Oh, I made money today. Oh, I lost money today. And then at the end of the week, you're literally where you started. We don't want to gain money and then give it back. We just want to gain money, but you do that by patience and you do that by making sure before you get in a trade that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Again, though, in order to do that, you guys have to constantly put in the work in your homework and in your analysis of the market and constantly working in the market so that you have these like red flags that come up. Like it's like warning signs, like, hey, okay, I'm here, but these are probable causes. So let me just sit on my hands until I have confirmation, opposed to guessing.
Just can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you have confirmations but still enter a bit early?
Yeah, that's possible, but typically when you have your confirmations, you're not really like you're set in stone. Does that make sense?
Mm. The only reason why I asked that is because it's a couple of times I had a trade and it's
Uh,
like it's gone exactly to where I expected it to go, but I'll enter early and it might wick me out early, but then there was another wick for the entry, if that makes sense.
Well, now this is a thing. It's not a thing of getting too early, but it could be a thing where you're in a consolidated area and you have to know that it's going to take time to play out. That's two different things. Getting there early, and let's say, like when I think of somebody getting in early, I'm thinking of This person got in, the overall destination was a complete sale, but before that sale hit, they went literally like way more in drawdown than they should have been because the market pulled way back before it got to where they needed it to go.
Yeah.
That's completely different than, let's say, you're waiting on a sale in a particular area and price just takes a while to get there because it's consolidating before it reaches there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have multiple fibs on this point right here. And then I'm gonna show you guys like your main confirmation points. Well, I'll show you guys a few things. So you have a couple of breaks and resets, and we actually did have divergence in this point. So some of you guys could have taken the buy it like literally from this -27 pushing up to retest this area, but the more confirmed ones was coming down here. There was a trend line, it should have been on here, but this broke and retested for this buy here, and then it was divergence here. I thought this was on the chart, but it's clearly not. So we had divergence here and we had divergence here. Also aligning with our trend lines and our fib levels. Everybody see that one before I move on to the next?
Yes.
And then also this was the support level that maintained and respected. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the one I have marked up on my chart too, Jessica.
You say what?
I said that's the one I have marked up on my chart too. It's so crazy now. Like my charts are starting to look like yours, and I feel so proud, girl. I'm like, yes. And you told me my GJ played out. I'm like, I'm just so excited, and thank you. I feel so blessed. I'm like, I learned from the best. She the goat. Period.
But no, I'm proud of you. That was that's great. Because after like I hadn't traded GJ in a while, that's why my chart wasn't marked up for it. But after you showed me the full picture, that's why I was like, okay, once you zoomed out, remember I was like, oh yeah, it looks like it could do that. But like for the rest of the week, I was like watching it
Hey.
to see it, and it played out perfectly. So good job to you. That's you. That was all you. Okay, so why is my annotation still on here? Okay, cool. Do y'all hear Loyal crying?
No.
Oh, he is
Can't hear
so
anything.
Oh.
No.
okay. So anyway, so when I was saying the buy, look at how many confirmations we have here opposed to over there, right? So over here, we actually have a support level that has been maintained. We have a break and retest. We have a fib level. We have exhaustion, and then we also have divergence. Make sense of the difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure, I'm looking
Yeah,
at
that's
it.
very clear.
Yeah. Okay. So now also remember that we're in very minor structure here. This bars pattern is way too big for this structure, but when I was analyzing, I think I got it from somebody asked me how do I get bars patterns last time, and I was like, not last time we were on this call, but like when people in the course asked me that on like a Monday call, you're literally just finding something similar. So in this area over here, I saw divergence and I said, okay, what's the clear last area of divergence? I think I got it from like right here. And all I did was just grab this exact bars pattern and fit it to where we were. So I think it was like, yeah, I think it was this. I believe it was this. Let's try it out and see. But when you do these divergences, so let's just delete this one. And then it's crazy how they always align with like your trend lines and everything else. So let's just delete the one we have, or let's scoot it over. I believe this was it, but if not, if it wasn't, then it still would be similar. So all you do is fit it to your portion
Yes.
now. And you see how even the zones and trend lines still align? See it? And it was a completely different area. I don't even actually think this was the same one as this one. I think this one's a little more flat, but anyway, this one still works. So where we were here, after we had this break and retest and this push up to this upside, all we did was respect this level at the top. So we pushed up to this area up here, respected it as resistance. Now, how do I know I'm getting ready to push back down at this area?
The break and retest.
Exhaustion.
Wick exhaustion.
Weak exhaustion, and then like somebody just said, that break and retest. Also, now this is a pullback for the fib structure for this area. Okay, so what is she talking about? Let's draw it with annotations so people can see. I'm gonna delete this fib so nobody is confused. And I don't want this to look like too many trend lines. I was heavily trading this week, so I took multiple positions. Oh, somebody just drew something, and let me annotation for other people. Okay. All right. So here, compose correction, continuation. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So this structure that we're in, all we did was have a break and retest to the downside. Boom, boom. Respect this level of resistance that's right here. This level of resistance started from this first point that pushed down last week at this negative 61.8. It's just like, mind you, we're on 15 minutes. So it's a very, remember, minor structure could easily be broken. So it's a very faint zone, but it's still a zone nonetheless. This was all like minor structure this week, because remember, and this is when I said like this was a good area to really go over also, because we had talked about how do you trade in the midst of consolidation. This is basically how, when structure isn't making higher highs or higher lows on, but you have to be mindful of the fact that this is actually structure confirmation opposed to something like this, where this is just consolidation in the midst of a minor structure. You can't trade this. Does everybody understand the difference between the consolidations that I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Structured consolidation opposed to minor consolidation is two different things. But structured consolidation is basically consolidation on a higher time frame that gives you structure on a minor time frame to trade in between.
Right.
That sounds, yeah, that
I have a
sounds.
question about the fib that you just drew for that structure.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so did you see the first point A? You drew point A to point B, but then when it pulled back, it broke the previous high.
But it never touched 110. So it
I'm
was,
sorry?
it never touched the 110. So if you go in your course where you have your fib levels and we talk about touching areas, so you know how like, even if I look at this, right? This, let's say this pullback here. Let's ignore this one for a second and let's just look at it. Let's look at this area of a pullback here. This would be a 50%, not a 61.8.
Right. Okay.
Makes
Okay, I
sense.
see what you're saying. Mhm.
Yep, that makes good
So
sense.
this right here,
So you consider this basically pulling back to 100
yes,
versus breaking the high. Okay.
because it respected it. Now, if it went way beyond that, if it was a candle that closed and another candle that closed above that, that would be
Mhm.
then it wicking at 100% and pushing back down. Does that make sense?
Sorry, can you repeat that? You said if there was a candle that closed and then the second candle that pushed above it?
So if I have a wick, right? A
Mhm.
wick of structure. A wick is basically saying, hey, I'm testing this area, I'm testing this area, I'm testing this area. However, there were more sellers that took over and pushed it back down. So sellers are still in control.
Right.
Opposed price literally making a bullish candle, closing, and then making another bullish candle above that candle and then pushing back down. That's two different things.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a wick is literally like a test of an area. So I tested this area, but I respected it and closed below it.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
No different than even when we talk about trend lines, how like we can have a trend line area, but sometimes price can literally wick and completely wick outside of that trend line, but close respecting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, that's a good point. And I do follow that in that instance, but I never did that for fibs that go above. I just always assumed that, okay, now this is, since it was in consolidation, I would have thought, okay, this is just, it's a consolidation. So I wouldn't have considered it a full structure, the point A to point B and pulling back. But now that you've explained it, it makes sense.
Well, yeah, also remember that we're in 15-minute structure. So these are only a couple of pips away from each other. It's not like we're
Right.
talking about that 4-hour structure where like if you look at this, if this was a 4-hour structure, this could easily be from this high to this high, like, I don't know, 100 pips.
Mm-hmm.
This is vicinity.
Right.
That's why the zone is still there. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
That makes sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Jess. I have a
Good.
question.
Yes.
On that trade you just took right there, the blue box, did you
Uh,
stay in the trade till it went to negative 27 or did you get out at 0?
which one?
The one she was just, yeah, that right there.
This
Because it
one?
did like a pullback. Did you stay in it till it hit 27 in that zone or did you get out it when it hit 0?
I stayed in it until it hit negative 27, but I loaded up. I had a small position right here, and then I had 2 positions on this buy right here because this is what I was really looking for.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah. So here at this point, point 1, point 2, break, retest, boom, here. Now you basically saying, but trading smart wise, based off of like how you need to trade, this was the next stopping point, but I had my like, because I had this major zone, I just remember when I just said that this is a 15-minute zone, so it's super minor.
Yes.
We went over that. So these
Mhm.
2 zones, I'm not expecting to have a lot of weight in regards to the higher structure, because remember, I'm on 15-minute time frame right now.
Right, right. Because the higher one is, yeah, they
Yes.
have more power. So
Of
to go to
this-
that one.
Yes, in the midst of the grand scheme of structure, looking at this, this holds more weight than that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Absolutely.
Okay. Is everybody following me so far?
Yes.
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 Okay. So then, I had originally drawn that bars on there just because I mean, that's basically what I was looking for structure to do at that point, because I was just, once I had this divergence. Oh yeah, that was the next part. So let me use bars pattern. And then let's go over that. Well, you guys can see it. Do I need to use bars pattern or we're good?
We're
We're
good.
We're good. It's clear.
You can see it.
Okay, perfect. So everybody sees this divergence? This divergence was, I don't want to say a strong because we don't have multiple points. However, it was still enough divergence where it was like a big push opposed to subtle divergence. Subtle divergence meaning something like this, where it's like just a few candles, this is going down, this is going up, and then we push up. I have actual peaks here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so once my divergence happened, you could either use either one of these trend lines. I drew them both. I got in this, I am gonna be honest, I got in this a little bit before the break and retest just because of what I was expecting. However, these would have been safe entries here, break, retest to here, and then a break and retest here. Both of these trend lines are valid for anybody to have used based off of whatever entry. I'm actually still in this buy, and then I have a stop loss in profit. I think I said I took 2 positions. I don't know if I said that or not, but I took a twin trade on this. Once I had the confirmation that it was going to continue to that trend line that we talked about on this chart. So here, one of my trades I did pull because I had divergence to go to the sell side on the, hold on, let's go back to it. This divergence here was very strong. Then we had that, and then this ended up breaking and retesting. I wasn't sure because at this 15-minute, we talked about this zone not holding a lot of weight. I wasn't sure if it was going to retest it and go higher or break through it, because technically on 4 hour, on that 4 hour chart that I just showed you guys. Do y'all hear Loyal?
Yeah.
No,
Nah.
don't
Okay.
hear him.
Oh, no, we don't hear him. We hear you.
Don't hear him.
No, we don't hear
Very
him.
slightly.
Oh, you want to go check
Yeah, I
on
heard
him?
him a little bit.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay.
All in your
Well,
face.
if you didn't
You
say
really
nothing,
do
you
want to
wouldn't
go
have
check on
noticed
him.
it.
Go
You
check
need to
on
go
him.
check on the baby. Check
Check
on the
on
baby.
him. Go
Like
check on him.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, you do can that. go check
It's
on him.
all in
Come on
your
now.
face.
We
You know you can't
understand.
focus.
I know I can't, but then you know how dads are. He's gonna be like, I got it, I got it. So I'm just like,
Yep, yep.
That
anyway.
is true.
So
So,
Jess, I have a question.
uh-huh.
Right where you are right there, that break and retest, that trend line beneath the divergence that you just drew.
Uh-huh.
I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, that line right there. What was
Uh-huh.
the thought behind that?
Oh, this is a divergence break and retest.
Okay.
In an actual trend line. So remember, we have divergence that breaks and retests, and then you have actual trend lines that break and retest. This is just structure breaking out. Let me actually use this. This will be easier for you to follow me.
Almost like a channel. No.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. I feel like it's right here. Hold
Would
on.
you start a new trend line right now?
Where?
Just the 2 new points that break and retest.
Where's my channel? Okay, here we go. I'm listening. Wait, say it one more time.
From the buy you took into the second point.
Oh man. Hold on. Okay, let me just delete that. Okay, what? Ask me again.
No, I said, would you do another trend line since you from that buy at the 27 and then the new point? It hasn't broken the zone yet, but would you do another trend line or
The -27 down here?
yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah, we can. Remember, you can draw a trend line. Like I just haven't got that far. Well, let me not say that far. I'm just still in that main position that I was in. But remember, when you draw trend lines, as long as you have 2 points, you're good to go. So you can always draw a trend line and see if it respects or rejects or not. You see price kind of broke all the way through this though. So I wouldn't say it's a trend line that's holding up good. But it's always good to have trend line points on there so that you could see what respects structure and what doesn't, what's valid and what's not.
Well, I was saying like the second point would be the divergence on that zone.
He's saying like, would you adjust it to the bottom of that? Yeah, that's on.
But it hasn't broken the top yet, so I was wondering if you would actually put that there just because.
I like my trend lines from lower more than this one. Now, I mean, this is a second point, so it's a valid trend line. It's just that I don't have any more price to gauge it from. But you can definitely keep it on your chart and see if it upholds in the future.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Like when it comes to trend lines, as long as you have 2 points and connect it in the future, there is no wrong. Because at some point, price is going to return back to it. And then remember when I was saying last week on the call, when I was telling somebody, I forgot who, when I was like, don't think that your chart is wrong just because I don't have it on mine, because I just might not have been in the trades or looking at structure at the point in which somebody else was looking at structure. So we can not have the same trend lines, but still come up with the same price, or, you know what I'm saying, profits. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
Yes.
what I'm saying about the reason that I pulled one or had two, but pulled one. The reason I pulled one is because again, I had this divergence up here. So I knew like when you're in a trade and you're following your trades, right? I didn't take any more trades at this point, but Wednesday was my last trades. So when you're at this point, I did not take this cell for clarification. I only drew this here because I was showing you guys what your break and retest would have been for this structure here. Okay. The only trades I took this week was this and then this. However, for you guys, if anybody did want to take advantage of this, I drew it there for that reason. I actually drew this today when I was just looking at the market to where we were. But here, when this was when I had this divergence, remember when I say when you're following in the market and you're looking at the market, you're seeing like it's literally a roadmap. Like price is telling you what it's gonna do next. You just gotta pay attention to it, right? It's literally telling you I'm about to fall. Clear as day. So here, I pulled one because I'm like, okay, is this? Oh, that's where I was in my thought. When I said that I knew this zone was such a minor zone, I wasn't sure if it was going to uphold and go all the way back down to this purple. Remember, I entered here, so I don't want to gain all this profit and then go back to my entry. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Most definitely.
I pulled one to secure my profits, and then I had a stop loss in profit where support was meeting resistance. And that's exactly what it did. It basically met resistance and then pushed back up. So I went down 50% and then basically prices back where I pulled profit for the first point.
So
Does
did
that
it
make
hit your
sense?
stop loss or did it continue going?
You say what?
Did it hit your stop loss or did it continue going up? Like, did
No,
you
no, no,
need?
no. It didn't hit the stop loss. My stop loss was under where, so when I set the stop loss and profit for this, remember, this is resistance. So I knew it could come back to this point. The question that I wasn't sure of though is, was it going to come back to resistance and test it as support, or was it going to
Right.
come back to my higher time frame zone? Because this one holds more weight, remember?
Yeah.
So this was already possible, like this was already a probable cause. Like I already knew this could happen. Now my thing is okay, how far are we gonna go up, or are we done going up? Because remember, this is a 4-hour trend line that I'm on, right? So I understood and I understand, and you guys should understand based off of your very first assignment in the course when we talked about your foundation levels, it's like gravity. Like this being a 4-hour trend line means that I'm not just going to push away from that area. Does that make sense?
Yes.
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 It's gonna take
So,
time.
Going to be held.
so I want to see if it's going to continue. I honestly want to see how high up it's going to go. But even if it starts dropping, like I have nothing to lose.
Hey Jess, I got a question for you. Did you re-enter when you saw the divergence and it hit respecting that zone?
No, I didn't, because I was out of the market by Friday. I literally just drew these two trend lines I drew earlier today, or like right before the call when I was looking at when I was looking at the market to get ready for this call. That's what I was looking at. Like literally I drew it at what time did this call start? 8:30. I drew it at 8. Like, I was like, okay, let me look at the market real quick for class. Where are we? And then
Copy. Got it, you got it.
yeah. So no, I
Hey, Jess,
hey,
really quickly, you just said 4-hour trend line. I got lost. Where is that 4-hour trend line?
the one that we went over last week and at the beginning of this call. So that green trend line that I was
The
talking
green one. Okay. I just didn't kind of see it on there and I got lost a little bit. Okay. I see it. I see it.
So that's what I was telling you guys. And that's why I'm so pro paying attention to every time frame. And when I go to my higher time frame charts, you go to these higher time frame charts so that you can make sure you're not caught up in the noise of the smaller time frame charts. Because like even if you guys look at my smaller time frame charts, like it's so much going on because it's so much that's happening. Like there's so much that happens on a day-to-day time frame. Does that make sense?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. Yes,
Can
it is.
hardly even see what's going, I mean, there's so many fibs and so much, yeah, it's a lot.
Exactly. So we go to these higher time frame charts so that you make sure your key points that you're looking for are always there. Or the key points that you're looking for, you're aware of. So that's why when I say I want to see how far this goes up, it's because, okay, I have this 4 hour trend line. Like I said, I hit it literally 3 times back in 2023, twice in 2024, and now we in 2025. So this is a point where, like, even when we hit it back in 2023, look how many times it came to this point and retested it before we
Right,
went away.
right.
So price can literally stay around this trend line all week. Could potentially. Like, we're so much in a push right now that's why I say I just have my stop loss and profit. I'm just waiting to see because at this point the momentum is there. We haven't died down on the momentum to really gauge anything else. Now, what I want to see also is, could this retest it multiple times? You see how over here we pushed away and then came back and retested, pushed away, came back and retested. You see how, like, over here, this all happened in a matter of what? So October 25th, October 30th, November 1st. That's what, 4 weeks time or 3 weeks of time
Right,
where price
right.
is literally in this area. Mind you, this is 4 hour.
Mhm.
So this is what I'm trying to get you guys to be mindful of. Now, when you guys are trading, I don't want you to necessarily go to dates and be like, oh, this day it did this, this, and this. I'm just showing you guys as an example what price could potentially do. Like, when I say price could hang out here for a while, like even when it touched it in 2024, December 19th to December 30th. That's what, 2.5 weeks in this vicinity. You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's just something to be aware of, something to be mindful of, and then just always being aware of where you are in the market. Price, I honestly want to see, because on this fib structure, we push back to a 61.8. I want to see now if, and again, this is a if, price trend lines can be broken at any time. Now, this is a 4 hour, so, and I'm just saying probable. Like, at this point, the only thing that's set in stone is the buy that we're in, and I have my stop loss and profit. But long term, just looking at my structure, right? The questions that I have in my head are long term. Again, I have this trend line from below, that this black trend line that you guys see. Would I have a pullback to continue higher? Because technically, since price pushed back to 61.8 on this smaller fib that I'm looking at, mind you, the overall fib that we're at is, it hit a negative 27. We're just pushing back from that point. But overall, we're still in a downtrend because we have no lower highs that are broken, right? So we didn't push past this point. We didn't do this. So we're not in a uptrend overall. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes,
I understand
yes.
my structure?
Hi,
That
Jess,
makes
I have a
sense.
question.
So hold on, let me finish my thought. So this zone that we have here is also in alignment with a negative 61.8. So long term, the question is, okay, could we push down to our zone and where this foundation level is, or because it's pulled back to a 61.8, could we have something like this start to form? Now, again, we're on 4 hours, so this is going to take a while to give us the answer to that question. But this is how I want you guys to look at the market when you're looking at it. It's like, okay, what are my probable causes? What are my possibilities? And then structure is going to tell you which one is going to be revealed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, somebody said they had a question. What was the question?
Yes, in terms of the time frame, right? When I'm looking at the chart, let's say I go to my 1 hour or my 4 hour. Is it whatever appears on my screen, or like you zoom out to kind of tell? Because I'm getting a bit confused in that aspect.
Yeah, so what's your question?
Yeah, so if I go to 4 hour, is it whatever appears on my screen, or do I zoom out to see like the full?
like where it starts or stuff like that.
Yeah, you will look on that particular time frame, what's on your screen.
Thank you.
But also make sure you watch all of your second assignment videos and all of the recordings that's about that video, like in the community, and all of the Monday calls that we've gone over the second assignment. Watch those too to gain clarity too
Okay, thanks.
on your structure. No worries. Um Ani Anibria. Anibria? Anibria? Did I say your name right?
Hi, yeah, Anibria, that's fine.
I'm sorry, girl. I saw you had your hand raised. I'm so sorry that I forgot.
I was just gonna ask you, did you see that major drop on US 30, and what was your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, the stock market.
That was crazy. That was like 1,000 pips.
Yeah,
That's right.
but there was divergence literally setting it up.
Can you go to your screen? I want to see your screen on that real quick.
Oh, I didn't trade it, so I don't have it marked up.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
I mean, I saw, like, when I looked at it, I saw divergence on it, so I can go to it real quick.
That was crazy.
Yeah, no. The only thing I traded, I have money invested in Dow Jones, but I haven't traded it heavy in a while. This was the divergence though when I looked at it, because somebody else asked me to look at it earlier this week for them because they wanted to hop in it. This was the divergence. You have this, and then over here, you have this and you have this. I don't have anything like fully marked up because again, I wasn't trading this, so I didn't really need it. And then you have a break and retest over here too.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, you see this? The break and retest was like right here, I believe. Yeah, here. See?
Yeah, I see. So the divergence and the break and recess would have been an obvious sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. It looks like that was not as clean. So I want to look at that one, but yeah. But this would have been your selling point. And then like if I did a full analysis on this and drew zones and all of the other things, then yeah, but I haven't traded US 30 like day trading it in a while. I just have money sitting in it. But
Just gonna ask you a question. Why don't you trade US and index? What's it called? Dow.
Indices.
I mean, it's not that I don't, because I used to trade it all the time. It's just a matter of honestly, ever since I had my babies, I just be doing what y'all need. And like you can make a lot of money on regular currency too. So since I've just been actively marking up GU for y'all on these charts or on the, hold on, let me see. Wait. I know I had a US 30 marked up everywhere somewhere. Let's see. This chart. Okay, yeah. So I used to trade it heavy like back in the day. As you guys see, if I put this on a time frame that you guys can understand. But it's not that I don't. It's just a matter of I haven't looked at it in a while. Like for instance, the girl that asked me about GJ last week, like that's the only reason I went to that chart. And then I was looking at it heavy all week. And then I saw opportunities, but I had already met my goal. So it's like I'm one of those people where I love my life. Like I live a very stress-free, beautiful, happy life for the most part. I won't say stress-free because obviously I have kids. 2 under 2 is stress as it is. But it's just like if I'm making my profits, there's no reason for me to be greedy and it's just no point. Like, could I be greedy and be like, oh my God, I want to be a freaking billionaire in 3 years, so I'm gonna go super heavy? Or can I say, okay, all my bills are paid, all my family's bills are paid, and I'm living a
Result code don't fix it type vibes.
You said what?
If it's not broke, don't fix it type of a.
Yeah, like, but that's the thing though.
Amen.
But it's also this though. Like, it's like in a thing of like, I feel like self-peace is just like, it's what you want to do and when you want to do it and what you're comfortable with. Like you guys see, I used to trade this very heavily, but I haven't been on it in a while because once I was doing GU, I had stopped trading US 30 heavy because honestly, my students, like I didn't want my students to lose money because this moves very fast. So even though I can be in and out of it, I used to go over, if you guys go back on YouTube calls, I used to go over US 30 a lot. And what I noticed is that everybody doesn't have the same mindset as me. Everybody doesn't have the same experience as me. Everybody doesn't have the same account as me. So this is way easier to you lose money in US 30 than it is on a regular currency pair. And then also you have to walk or you have to crawl before you walk. So like these used to be, I mean, honestly, these are all notes from when I used to teach US 30, but it's just a matter of like, if somebody's not even getting regular currency, why would I go over this?
Yeah, that's true.
And then not only that, once I like as a mom now, honestly, I don't have time to go to the market all the time like I used to. Like I used to stay in the market. Now it is family, is I gotta take care of my dad. I have to take care of my husband. Like it's like all of my, I have so much on my plate now that it's not the just let me travel and be on the charts
And
carefree.
you need to make time for yourself, self-care.
Yes. So it's just like when I see my opportunities, I just take them in what I'm taking it in. And then also, like I said, in regular currency, you can make the same amount of money in regular currency that you do US 30, just use a bigger lot size and it moves way slower.
Hey Jess, do you think it was something in fundamentals that made Nas and US 30 drop like that?
Yeah, it was definitely fundamentals. What happened this week? I looked at it earlier, but hold on.
Trump fired all well, Elon Musk fired all those federal workers.
Wasn't
The
it the
IRS workers
CPI?
getting fired, the plane crashes, like it was a lot.
Yeah, and then the nuclear.
sky is falling.
Not the sky is falling.
And
Every
it was
day
an
there's something
article,
new.
and it was an article that came out, US dollar has surged over the past 6 months and its rapid rise has impacted corporate earnings season. So that caused, obviously, US 30 is, I mean, it doesn't move exactly opposite to the DXY, but as you guys know, rates are inverse to prices. So as prices are going up, rates are dropping. Does that make sense? So it's money being out of the supply, quote unquote. But let me go check on my baby now that it's 9:30. I love you guys. And
Hi, Jess.
yeah, this was
Thanks,
good.
Jess. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Jess,
Pleasure.
thank you.
Yeah,
I
Good talking.
appreciate you.
Take care of those
Bye.
Check
babies.
on your little people.
Bye.
Bye.